What is going on, guys? Skyhound here, also known as Geek Detective Pierce. So, I decided to do something a little different here, but before I do, I have to give a quick shout out to a particular YouTuber, Hiro Hey, for beating me to the punch in terms of exposing this guy's hypocrisy. Which guy am I talking about here? An elderly voice actor who is actually a substitute voice actor for a popular kids' TV show. The voice actor in question is a Greg Baldwin. Now, for those of you guys who watch Samurai Jack and those of us who watch Avatar The Last Airbender, well, you can put two and two together. Yeah, I'm talking about that guy. But before I go any further, I do want to point out that for those of us who did attend Comic Con Revolution over in Ontario, California, know that there was a good chunk of the Avatar The Last Airbender cast that was there. And we know which characters we are talking about. I myself was also in attendance. I did get a chance to meet one of the voice actors. Now, Mr. Baldwin's booth was right next to the voice actress who did Toph. That's the one that I met, Toph, not the one who did Uncle Iroh. Unfortunately, what doesn't surprise me with elders, even voice actors, or just actors in general, before I get to the meat of it, I want to be super clear. I'm going to be highlighting the hypocrisy of a particular viewpoint which is false. And even though I am an Oriental, I have seen this a lot being used and abused. And this is where Orientals are wrong. Not just Orientals, but any ethnic group in particular when you talk about elders. And I will have to point out a priest, despite being an elder, pointed out the truth when it comes to being old that some elders get and others don't, especially not in America. And it's this: as you get older, you get dumber. Let me say it again. As you get older, you get dumber. There's a saying that I say quite often online: stupidity is unbiased. If that's not clear enough, that's your problem, not mine. If you realize that I am applying it to everybody on this planet, regardless of the superficial nonsense, good. At least you're paying attention. So, let's get to the meat and potatoes, shall we? There was a tweet that I came across, and obviously it had to do with particular politics. And here's what doesn't surprise me: those that take America for granted and take life for granted, and also take their job for granted. I cannot stress that enough. And they know who they are. I don't give a damn about position. I don't care how long you've been doing it. It does not mean a thing. If you really dislike it so much, get out. Now, this tweet that was done in spite of Kyle Rittenhouse doing what he needed to do, Greg Baldwin being a 63-year-old voice actor, 63 years old. That's considered old, people. he decides to be a bit of a dick. And I'm not apologizing for calling him that. There are voice actors who can't keep their trap shut. It is not just of voice actors, but you also have actors and actresses that take life for granted, even new ones that are just as bad as the others themselves. And they know who they are. But that being said, he did say something that, of course, I couldn't just stand by and let that go. So I took screenshot, I took receipt, and well, one could say the rest is eventually history. The only problem with Greg Baldwin is that he couldn't let it go. So what did he do? He doubled down again. After I'm not the only one that pointed out his nonsense, but so did a few others. Again, Hirohei beat me to the punch. Kudos to you, sir. But also, I want to say thank you to the other Twitter users that also highlighted this. So I know there's a few of us that highlighted the hypocrisy. And of course, I decided to also throw my hat in the ring. What happened after that? Well, he deleted the tweet, but again, some of us kept receipts, as I did. And of course, I had to use particular context. So, what does Greg actually do at this point? He pretends to retract, but what most of us know is that these guys are backpedaling as soon as they're caught red handed. And he does exactly that. But as a pit bull usually would not let go, I did not let go myself until a certain point. So after my first salvo, I fired a second salvo in response to his hypocrisy. Then I used not just my context, but also his very first tweet that he used against Kyle Rittenhouse. And I did not let go. So all I had to do now was wait. Eventually, I knew it was going to be a bit of a waiting game. But what I do know is this: when some of them can't keep their trap shut, regardless of which side, it doesn't really matter if you really dislike America, which gave you the opportunity, and I'll say it again. If you were born here and you slander it, why are you still even here? Why are you even breathing? I don't care what job you're doing. I don't care if you're in the entertainment industry. I don't care if you're in sports. I don't give a damn about what job you are doing. If you hate it so much, get out. I do not care about ethnicity. I do not care about age. I do not care if you're male, female. I don't care about your damn sexual orientation. If you hate America so much, pack up your shit, sell it, and get the hell out. It is that simple. And as I stated before, I know the answer to a question that most of these people are afraid to answer. And it's this: what happens when most people don't give a shit? After you move to a country that does not have the First Amendment for protecting speech, the Second Amendment for protecting the right to bear arms, or a constitution that defends those rights. Dare to guess. Go ahead. I dare you to guess. No other country in the history of the world has this stuff. I know this, and I've been born here, and I know this shit. Because I know the exact answer to the question: what happens when you're back at square one, when you move somewhere else that doesn't have this stuff? I don't know where to start. I sold all my stuff, and now I have to build it up again. But guess what? It's already been done. You can't take it back. People have already taken notice because you were a slave to your ego, you couldn't shut your trap, and you thought that alienating a major percentage of the fan base was actually a good thing. We are the ones that are giving money. We are the ones that are working in order to go to these events and let you know how much we appreciate you and your hard work for making these characters come to life. And there are even those who share stories of you being an impact in their lives. And what do? You shoot it down. You shoot it down. And you know who you are hurting? You are hurting fans like us. You are hurting the ones that used to look up to you. And where does that trust go? Out. It is gone because you couldn't control yourself. You couldn't control what you were thinking or even saying because you are no longer in control. It is your ego. You, Mr. Baldwin, did this to yourself. I am not going to forget it, nor will anyone else. And you know why? You will never be as good as Mako, who started the character. And you know what? Whatever happens, that's on you from now on, Mr. Baldwin. However, I will point out in my tweet that I will give you credit for calling yourself out. And you know what? You are correct about one thing about Alec Baldwin. He is an idiot. And you know what? The fact that you also self roasted yourself and calling yourself an idiot, I will give you credit there, sir. Because as I stated already, as you get older, you get dumber, not wiser. So forget the whole with age comes experience nonsense. It is nonsense because when you add the word always, you are stupid. It is not always. Sometimes, yes. Other times, no. So it depends on who you speak to. It depends on who you know. It depends on who you associate with. But with that being said, this has just been my usual 2 cents and my rant and roast of Mr. Greg Baldwin. Again, kudos to those of us who are calling out his nonsense, and also to Hirohei for beating me to the punch. Kudos to you, sir. And to the fellow Twitter users that decided to call out the BS of these elderly, spoiled voice actors. This has been Skyhound, also known as Geek Detective Pierce. Stay safe, stay sane, and as Orange Hat Reviews would say, stay humble. Peace out.